Hola, hola. My name is Ricardo. I am the host of the Lucha Jovers podcast here in the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network. We are a Spanish speaking show dedicated to discussing and analyzing pro wrestling from all across the world. From AW to CMLL, we talk about American wrestling, Japanese wrestling, and of course, Lucha Libre. If something big happened in the pro wrestling world, we will talk about it. So if you know Spanish or have a friend that knows Spanish or want to practice your Lucha Libre pronunciations, go listen to the Lucha Jovers podcast right here in the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network. Nos vemos por ahí.
Hi, my name is Tyler Fornes, and I am the co-host of The Good, the Bad, and the Hunky here on the Voice Wrestling Podcasting Network. Every week, my co-host Fred Moreland and I discuss all the happenings of All Elite Wrestling and everything going on in the universe of Tony Khan. We talk about Dynamite, we talk about Rampage, and we will talk about Collision when the time comes as well, along with all the appearances outside of AEW from all the best talents in All Elite Wrestling. This is one of the more cohesive wrestling companies in the entire world, and we discuss every intricacy about it, including the unique booking of Tony Khan that is both a huge positive and a major detriment. Check us out every single Thursday here on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network.
This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the... Oh, no, we said we're not going to do that. Hello, everybody, welcome to the Super J-Cast. I'm Joel, joined by Damon McDonald. It is Wednesday, the 11th of October, 2023. This is episode 276, which I had proposed that we do in ladies' voices, but Damon didn't like that idea, so you've got him to blame for us doing it in our boring, normal voices.
I didn't...
What am I doing, Damon? Why have I started the podcast like this? This is awful.
Well, look, I mean, we decided not to just because it would be incredibly weird and somewhat hard to keep up. And also, I don't know why we would... I don't know who talks... Nobody talks like that. That's a terrible lady's voice. I'm just going to say it. It should be, hey, everybody, my name is Ophelia. You know, a deep voice.
So if we do get the Patreon off the ground, we can do that. Like, listeners can pay amounts of money to request us to do a podcast in a particular silly accent. Yeah.
Now we're talking. Now, see, every day it's some. Not, I wouldn't say it's difficult, but it's we're always trying to keep it fresh, and keep it new, and keep the energy up. Because you guys and gals, you spend your hard time listening to this, so we try to make it fun. But this is fucking bombing big time, so let's just move on. What do you say?
Yeah, so we're probably going to be dropping below 2,000 listeners at this point.
Oh, it's funny. Yeah, we're not divulging our listenership.
No, that was just a number that I just made up.
No, actually, it was a little higher, which was quite honestly, I was surprised at anything over 6. To be quite truthful, I was shocked and pleased to see decent numbers. Whatever. We're not making rich. We're not making rich. We're not getting rich off of this, but I don't know. It's just kind of weird to see the number, and I was like, oh, okay. Not bad. And then our bigger shows do well. And who the fuck cares? Nobody cares about this. By the way, we can finish every part of this, like everything we go. Hey, what do you think about SANADA? And even no one gives a fuck.
I was going to ask, what do you think of the New Japan Stardom business presentation you saw? Nobody cares. So to the next segment.
Well, I mean, look, I think there's some definite weirdness going on, isn't there? Isn't there some weirdness going on?
There is weirdness. On the topic of us doing ladies things that people don't want to consume, there's the whole Stardom situation. That's a really tenuous segue, isn't it?
Yeah,
I tried really hard and just absolutely butchered that. But anyway, so I'm going by the notes here. So effing Kenta on Reddit did some really good write-up of the business presentation. So he says that if it is a he, I don't know.
You don't know. You're assuming.
Effing Kenta.
A lot of assuming going on.
Get in touch. Let us know. You do good work.
Yeah.
I appreciate you. So Stardom's holding a show at Tokyo Dome City Hall a few hours before Wrestle Kingdom 18. The main event will be an IWGP Women's title match. But that does mean there will be no Stardom talent involved at Wrestle Kingdom 18, which is quite surprising and quite disappointed. There's other sort of bits and pieces about the revenue's gone up and talking about the youth movement and ticket sales. New Japan World's coming on November 9th, blah, 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 blah. But that was my biggest takeaway, sort of looking at, again, sort of New Japan's track record of introducing new championship belts with a clearly defined ethos, being like, yes, this is the belt for this thing. And then, a year later, it's completely abandoned and forgotten about. So I think it's important to view this through the lens of the fan feedback. And there was a fan poll where they were asking fans if they're in favour of women's wrestling in New Japan. And 58% of women said they were strongly opposed to it.
58% of women?
58% of women said they're strongly opposed to women's wrestling in NJPW. And I've heard anecdotal evidence of like when they have their sort of Stardom offer matches in the shows, just enormous queues for the women's toilets. So not for nothing, as you would say.
Yep.
The men seem kind of ambivalent on it. 18% said highly supportive, 41% said supportive, 26% said opposed, 16% said strongly opposed. But with the women, 23% say opposed, 58% strongly opposed. So,
why do you think that is?
Andrews, I don't want to be reductive and say something foolish like, the women just want to see the hunky men.
Right.
But, there's obviously some sort of disconnect there. And it would appear that that's having an effect on the booking because you cannot find either of these women's championship belts, either this or the strong one, with a search party, can you? Obviously there's been injury situations and that, but it seems like they're sort of quietly backing away from what they had promised, which for me, I find that disappointing because I was enjoying having the Stardom offer match. And, maybe this is just, people will say to me, okay, well, if you like the Stardom stuff, go and subscribe to Stardom and support them. And yeah, fair enough. But I still think I liked it. I don't know what else to tell you. I thought it was good. I thought they sort of put their best foot forward. They put some really interesting, exciting matches on the big New Japan shows. And I thought that was a good sort of proof of concept, having that IWGP women's belt defended at the top shows and, give us a little teaser of all the great stuff over there. But looks like it's going down the shitter.
That's weird. Why would they just put so much effort and energy into it? And it doesn't even seem like it's that much. And then just throw it aside and toss it aside. I don't understand that at all. You're right. It does feel like it's like, okay, well, it's just, here's the thing. I don't know on what level they expected, like what was their expectations other than, okay, people would be more interested in seeing, even if it's at this base level, people would be more interested in seeing that title being defended on a dome show as opposed to, I don't fucking know, Toru Yano against, whomever. I just...
Yeah. The toilet thing, right? I have been at the Tokyo Dome and seen people queuing up at the toilet for, Tama Tonga matches, and they didn't pull the plug on him. Right. They were quite persistent with getting them over.
Yeah. I don't understand that at all. And here's the thing. If you're just looking for pure entertainment value, I would think that a title match for the IWGP Women's Championship would be just on paper. I don't care who the fuck they put in there for that title match. It would be miles better than any kind of, how you like to open up the fucking dome with a hot junior tag match. Okay, great. but I think it, very could possibly be comparable to that, and nobody bitches and moans about that. I don't understand. And that you are so right in the sense that they're like fucking, I hate to say it, but they're like me with the fucking ADHD. Oh, I like drums. Well, that stopped. Oh, I like barbecue. Well, I got a fucking $700 grill. Oh, I like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like they can't fucking stop looking at the shiny thing. All right, well then.
How is it that the KOPW championship is outliving some of these other stronger concepts that they've introduced in more recent years?
Yeah. I mean, you would think, look, everything in pro wrestling to a certain degree takes a little bit of re-education and getting used to, but if you consistently do it, and it's not like people are walking out of the fucking building, but you got to give people a reason to care. And if people aren't dumb either, like the idea that I'm supposed to be all into it when the company obviously isn't, it's like, what the fuck are we doing? And just think of all the wasted energy. Just think of all the wasted energy over for years over women wrestlers being a focal point of New Japan Pro Wrestling, right? And if for that argument was going on for what felt like an eternity. And then it finally happens. And then we forget about it. It's so, like, I just think of all the fucking headaches and all the discussions and all the fucking tweets and everyone fucking grandstanding and everyone feeling good about themselves because, boop, done. We're not doing it anymore. It's fucking unbelievable. Whew. And here's the thing, too. I don't give a shit about their revenues at this point because some of it, I think they're blending money. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like there's money coming in there. Of course they're going to be better because they're selling tickets. Okay, whatever. However they're fucking cooking their books, great. We're dying for new faces to look at this product and enjoy this product and consume this product. And if that was one avenue, great. Done. You know what I mean? Let's just cut off another fucking section of a fan base. But here's the thing. If the surveys are correct, then you know what? Maybe they are catering to their audience. You know, maybe a homegrown Japanese-based fan base might be a little bit different than that of a Western, right? Interesting concept, right? All right.
Where's the Puro Power Twitter account when you need them?
You know, I'll tell you what. Let me ask you this: does that officially mean? Not officially mean, but like, does that kind of signal we're done with the Monet experiment?
Well, they didn't mention anything specifically about her. I'm just going by the notes here, and it says that. But basically, your mind is made on whether she counts as a Stardom talent. Because if she doesn't, then there's potential that she might have a showcase match at Wrestle Kingdom. But it said no Stardom talent involved at Wrestle Kingdom 18. They did say the historic crossover show would be back in some form next year. But again, that's a shame because I thought it was really fun last year. I thought it was a sort of nice way. What month was it? Was that like November or something?
Yeah.
I thought that was good. And then they've not bothered to do it this year. And, there's all these matches going on with the IWGP Women's Championship that we just have no way of watching.
Unbelievable.
It's bizarre.
It is bizarre. And here's the thing, too. If they pull one of those things where she gets a match on that fucking Dome show and the champion, the IWGP Women's Champion, does not, you don't think there's going to be some people that are going to be a little bit upset with that? If I'm working Stardom, if I'm making the fucking trip to Stardom, and I'm not on the show, and, she's obviously the most recognizable name, but still, what a slap in the face. Woof. Goodness. Well, New Japan, never a dull moment with those fuck faces up there. Whew.
That's why they've introduced such a high volume of new championship belts that it just makes me. They're going to do it again. Like, what's the over/under on the amount of new belts that are going to be introduced next year, and then disregarded in 6 months' time? So it just makes me sort of want to keep it at arm's length. Like, no point getting excited about something and prognosticating because you never know. They've got a very short attention span when it comes to a lot of these titles.
They really do. My goodness, it is amazing. Does it seem that difficult? I mean, like on the surface, does it seem that fucking difficult to be able to manage? That's your job to come up with creative storylines and keep everything rocking. I mean, again, contracts are one thing and injuries and all, but boy, it seems like they can't get out of their own fucking way sometimes. It really does, and that's again one of the biggest frustrations I think a lot of people feel with this company right now.
All right, well, let's. There is quite a lot to talk about today. We've got Destruction in Ryogoku. We've got Royal Quest coming up this weekend, which I keep forgetting I'm going to. Oh. So that's exciting. We'll get onto that for sure. Lots of questions in the back. Let's get on to Destruction in Ryogoku then. So we kicked off the show. Well, first of all, what do we think of the number? It was not on the website. I think it was about 5,000 people in Sumo Hall. Is that a good number? Is it a shit number? Or is it somewhere in between?
I think I wouldn't say it's complete shit, but I think we stepped in it a little bit. let's put it that way. It's not a great number, right? It's I would look, given the lineup, I'm actually surprised that many people were there. Yeah, I'm disappointed with that number. You?
Yeah, I mean, for Sumo Hall, that's not great, is it? I mean, I'm just looking at what the recent numbers are like there. So the G1 final, I mean, obviously that's the G1 final. That did 8,283. The G1 semi-finals did 6,579. The All Together Again show did 6,569. Sakura Genesis did 6,510. So yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, and the problem is in a building like that, it's noticeable. It's like you see that. It may not seem like a huge difference, but in a building like that, you definitely see it. So yeah, but again, like I said, I think that they did themselves zero favors with any hype, any excitement, an unsexy lineup, and you were going into it with a main event that was anybody really thrilled with that? And juniors carrying the show, it felt like. And, unfortunately, historically, when you have shows like that, they tend not to do as well across the board. So, I mean, it's just the way it is.
Yes, that's correct. Sorry, I just went to go and get my phone because the website's not loading on my MacBook for some reason, and I want to get the results. Like back in the day, Damon, you could pull up the results of a New Japan show on their website as the show was happening. Not the case anymore. You can go several days without the results page being updated. Now let's see if they actually have the results for this Destruction show. Let's see. This is making for great radio. Okay.
Got him? No?
Yes, we got them. Well done. Well done to whoever's updated the website. So I've got to do it on my phone here. So we kicked off the show with a 20-minute it wasn't a dark match, pre-show match, we'll call it. The Frontier Zone. So this was Oscar Loiba, Yusuke Taguchi, Tiger Mask, Toriano, and Yoshihashi defeating the team of Takahiro Katori, Jun Masawaka, Kengo, Kazu Masumi, and Takeshi Masada. So Taguchi got the win over Takahiro Katori with the Omai and Garanko after 8 minutes 14 seconds. So it seems like this is sort of an ongoing conceptual idea they have, which how long is that going to last, as we've been discussing? But basically outsiders versus New Japan talent for like a little dark match to showcase some of the talent across the pro wrestling scene in Japan. So this time we had a mixture of, I think it was DDT and Freedom's talent. I don't know if this is an attempt to sort of batten down the hatches for the impending invasion of NXT Japan, but it had its moments. I mean, I enjoyed Oscar Loiba getting to work the monster style against Kazuma Sumi, who's quite a short gentleman. I've started to get excited for Loiba. I think the more I'm seeing of him, the more I'm thinking this guy is starting to show and project the monster energy that we like to see in our big boys in New Japan. And for those who have been following, we've got this sort of ongoing story with Katori's bunny and Taguchi mistreating it. So that played into the finish. It's good. I like the concept, getting fresh faces and exposure for talent from different promotions. So let's hope they keep this one up.
I guess. I mean, they're willing to do that. They won't, they can put their own fucking titles on the show. Okay, great. Everyone gets a spot. Good.
Okay, so then the first match was the match, six-man tag match with Taichi, Doki, and the returning Yuya Uemura, who debuted as X, a new member of Just Five Guys, and they defeated the House of Torture team of Yoshinobu Kanemaru, Sho, and Yujiro Takahashi. So 7 minutes, 57 seconds. Yuya pinned Yujiro with a deadbolt suplex. So, yeah, it's Heat Storm Yuya Uemura. I mean, before we get into this, I think we should take a moment to laugh at the complete dunces who actually thought that Yuya wasn't coming back. That he was signed full-time to Impact. You absolute buffoons.
Really?
But, I mean, I enjoyed the presentation of Yuya. He's got a really good theme. It's like kind of shonen anime theme song banger. Classic babyface ace look. Bit of an aesthetic clash with Just Five Guys because they're all in black and he's all in red and white. He's got his Stannis Baratheon flaming high imagery. That's a plus. But look, this was a little bit disappointing, dare I say. This is not the mega debut I expected because, maybe this is just me getting bogged down in my own fantasy booking. But I was hoping for something a bit more dramatic. I was hoping for him to, be positioned against someone like Okada to be at the top of the cards. And look, I expect he'll get there at some point. Maybe sooner than people think. And look, maybe New Japan just don't do that kind of stuff anymore. And as fans, we shouldn't judge every re-debut against the Rainmaker Shock, which, I suppose you should point out, began with a shit match against Yoshihashi where both guys looked awful. Right. And look, Yuya's going to be fine. I'm not throwing him in the bin. But it was just, I expected a bit more, especially with Tsuji getting his re-debut in the main event at Dominion, which... that's an enormous spot. I thought they were going to sort of one-up that with Yuya. And I suppose there's lots of stories to tell, but with him sort of being not re-debuting alongside the other Three Musketeers, and he's not one of the Three Musketeers, I really thought they would do something with that. And they might yet, but it just feels a little bit underwhelming. But, it was a great moment for him. He looked very emotional, very happy to be back, and there's a lot of talk about does it hurt him being alongside two other established heavyweights. Now, he has said that he wants to face them all in singles matches. So there's a possibility maybe he's in World Tag League. He might team up with Taichi. I think there were definitely some hints towards that with their double team attacks during this match, assuming he's a heavyweight, which I expect he will be. They continued the bad blood between Taichi and Kanemaru. That was pretty good. And yeah, I like his finish. What did I say it was called? The deadbolt suplex. That's pretty good. He looks great. He's confident. He's sexy. He's hunky. He's got great hair. He wants the big boy belt. He said that backstage. He can seemingly travel the globe faster than most people. He must have a private jet or something. Because he was sending out social media stuff of him being right in the middle of the desert, just minutes before the show started. So just incredible stuff there. But what did you think of the re-debut of Heat Storm?
Well, look. If you just go back 1 week, we kind of talked ourselves out of the idea of this being anything other than what we would normally see in a re-debuting New Japan Pro Wrestler. It's it felt you're right. It felt weird. It felt like a weird combo in the sense with Just Five Guys who seem a little bit more dark and brooding than, say, him coming out before all of his pomp and circumstance with Yuya. They're not going to do that. And if we ever start fantasy booking about, okay, this guy's on excursion. He comes back. We'll do this. He challenges this. Nope. No. He's going to go the samesies for every other young lion. Now, which you would think that...
That's not true, though, is it? I mean, Tsuji debuted in main event of Dominion. That's like one of the biggest singles matches of the year.
Okay.
Shota Umino re-debuted with a US title match. Ren Narita, he came back in a 6-man tag match as well, but he was front and center of that TV title. He got his own new faction. He was labeled one of the Three Musketeers. Okay. I don't know. It just feels below even those three.
I mean, yes, but it's all in the same kind of package, mind you. It's not like it's like even for all of us pumping our chests about Yoda and his Los Ingobernables run, we'll call it, that he has that he has the look and the feel, and when he wrestles top guys, it's amazing the matches that he can have. But taking that kind of inside baseball look at him, he hasn't won anything. He hasn't. I mean, he's competed, and he's kept pace with big names, but it's not like he came in and lit the world on fire and beat people and established himself as even a higher. Would you say that? And again, I'm using Yota Tsuji as the template here. Would you say he's above a mid-card guy at this point, or is he a upper mid-card guy, or is he higher than that and I'm missing it?
I would say upper mid-card.
Okay.
Because he's had some high-profile main events already.
He has, yes. But again, what does that mean? Like where are we with that? Because you could say the same thing about Great O'Khan, right? You could say the same thing about, and again, it feels different, and it should be different. But if we went back in time and said, okay, these guys are going away, Yota Tsuji is going away, Yuya is going away, Ren Narita is going away. All these guys that are like, not one of them, it felt like. And again, I understand the debuting. I think for me, the guy who made the biggest splash returning was absolutely Yota Tsuji, right? I don't think there's any doubt in anyone's mind. I think Yuya has the potential to be a guy, but he's in the second match in a multi-man tag debuting. Yes, he got the pin over Yujiro, and I think that's a smart move. But in the grand scheme of things, if I'm going to re-debut someone, it's going to be a little bit more spice than that. Sorry, because right now he's just in the mix. Like he's just in the mix. He's not head and shoulders above anybody, and I just think that's a wasted opportunity. But
yeah, you get one chance to make a first impression.
Correct. Thank you. And I think that the way that, I just think there has to be some kind of change in philosophy when it comes to that. It's pro wrestling. It's, you know what I mean? It's not like it's a guy who was on the, the junior team and he gets a call up and now he's playing in the pros. You could do whatever you want. You can book it any way you want. I don't understand this methodology of just, it's got to be a slow burn, and it's got to be a slow. People, we don't have fucking time for a slow burn. I'm not saying we hot shot everything. I'm not saying we dusty roads everything. But come on, I don't know. It just, to me, I was hoping for more, but anticipating exactly what we got. And it's like Christmas. You get a nice little gift under the tree. It's all wrapped up, and you're thinking, this has got to be my XYZ. I've been wanting this all year. And it's not XYZ. It's ABC. And ABC is nice. The thought was nice. I like that. Yeah, I could use it. But I wanted XYZ.
Well, I think we can all safely say that it's Ryohei Oiwa who's going to be the next ace. He's going to come back and Ryohei Bullseye Oiwa, that'll be his gimmick, and he's going to challenge Okada and beat him immediately for the title, probably some point early in 2024. You could bet the house on that. Okay. But yeah, there we go. Second match was Tanga Loa defeating Chase Owens in 8 minutes 15 seconds with the OJK. Look, Chase Owens having a singles match at Ryogoku is deeply repugnant to me on a fundamental ideological level. So I think I should object to reviewing this match from a moral standpoint, if nothing else. I did enjoy the 619 that Tanga Loa did. Look, the crowd inexplicably loves him. This match was not as terrible as it could have been. I still think it should not have been here. Louis says, was it me or did that Tanga Loa Chase Owens match just feel out of place in the show? Yes. I think they should have kept this match on a Road 2 show. Yes.
I don't know. Look, maybe somebody owes somebody money. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. I can't answer. I don't know. But I will say this. At least the people that I've talked to and the people that I've spoken to about this show, which wasn't a lot, but I don't think there's anybody that was like, "Yep, I have that one circled. Can't wait for match number 3 to stroll down the aisle." Who did this? Who wanted this? But again, pro wrestling's weird. I'm guessing. I'm going with somebody owed somebody a favor. You know, somebody bought somebody lunch, and this is the payback. It's the only thing I can think.
Yeah, I mean, it was a show where GOD were very much front and center, getting big wins all over the place. So that was the theme of the night. I don't know, maybe that's running into tag leagues later down the line. But yeah, there you go. That's the second match. Third match then was an 8-man tag. Bushi, Yota Tsuji, Shingo Takagi, Tetsuya Naito defeating Callum Newman, Henare, Great O'Connor, and Jeff Cobb. So Naito pinned Newman after 7 minutes 44 seconds with the Destino. Did get a little bit scared when I saw Bushi coming out with the Plague Doctor mask. Entertainment Martin has very much poisoned the well when it comes to that particular accoutrement. But I enjoyed this a lot. Really fun multi-man. I think sort of across this whole tour, they've done a good job with Callum Newman. He's getting good reactions. It's been a good showcase for him overall. I would like to see him in Super Junior Tag League. I can't imagine who he would be teaming with, but it would be good to build on that momentum and keep him in our mind's eye, even if he's not necessarily going to win the thing. No. I think that the fans have enjoyed him and would like to see more of him.
Yeah. It's a weird spot to be in, to kind of help yourself make a name for yourself. You kind of get lost in the shuffle a little bit. But yeah, I think they did fine. I didn't have a problem with this match. I thought it was pretty decent, actually. Weird in that there's a lot of talent on both sides that were just kind of felt like we're shoehorning in. And I know that this was a song and dance throughout the tour, but I don't know. I just you look at the names and you see how they're just kind of plopped in together within their factions for this tag match. And again, I understand faction versus faction has been a theme throughout. Wow. Look at those names. Shingo, Naito, Yota Tsuji, Okan, Cobb, Henare. Yeah. I mean, I specifically said no Bushi, but that's all right. Even he was fine. I didn't have a problem with him. Just weird. Fourth match, huh? Okay. Well, seems like a waste, but all right.
Right, then we had the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship match with the champions Driller Maloney and Clark Connors defeating the challengers of Intergalactic Jet Setters Kevin Knight and Kushida. So Driller Maloney pinned Kushida after 30 minutes 28 seconds with a full clip, so they retained their Junior Tag Championships. I enjoyed this a lot. I thought this was really good. I had a few clunky moments, but I will give them a pass on that if half of them were suffering from the flu, allegedly. Kevin Knight, just fucking great, as usual. Just an unbelievable athlete. He's putting it all together in front of us. It's a privilege to watch. Tony can't stay the fuck away from him. And I want to single out Driller Maloney for some praise, because I think he is starting to, if not already, exceed Clark Connors just for everything, really, in terms of the look, the presence, the control periods, the promos, I think are really good. The shoulder spot with them sitting on each other's shoulders was a bit silly. Setup was a bit awkward. Kevin Knight nearly fell on his head. Don't do that again, lads. I tell you, David, speaking of people falling on heads, that driller killer on Kushida looked absolutely lethal. That should have ended the match. I was just like, Jesus Christ, he looked like he caused some serious damage there. And even then, like the closing stretch, I thought was really great, really brutal. The pop-up spear, the full clip, just very impressed with these guys. And just the state of the junior tag division as a whole, which I thought with Catch 2-2 taken out of the mix, I thought, we're going to lose something there and miss them a lot. But it's really saying something when they can take a step back and not really be missed, half as much as I thought they'd be, because I'm enjoying this Driller and Clark team a lot. Not just the wrestling, but all the sleazy post-match shenanigans. They're just a pair of dirty, drunken fuckboys, and I'm here for it. I like it.
Yeah, me too. I like them a lot. War Dogs, that is. Jet Setters as well. Or my bad. Intergalactic Jet Setters, Joe. I don't want to, put any. What I'm trying to say. Who cares? What I'm looking at? I just decided. I was like, it felt like you had mentioned Clark Connors, and it feels like he's been in the New Japan system forever, right? 2018, so it hasn't been super long. But I think one thing that kind of shocked me, and again, this is Wikipedia, and we'll take it for what it's worth, right? Made his debut in 2017. Like, not New Japan, like pro wrestling. Which I think is pretty amazing, actually. But it's time. About time we do something a little bit more. I would like to see a little bit more. Drilla, I love. I think the future's bright there, but I want to see more for Clark from Clark Connors. Actually, like he seems like a guy that could use a little bit of love. And again, junior tag belts is a perfect start. But when we start talking about the junior tag league, and even maybe even challenging for the junior title would be hopefully something in his 2024. Because to me, he's a guy that I hate saying deserves it, but like let's go with him a little bit. Kevin Knight, I hope they lock up because with a contract, because it would be a crying shame. It would be a crying shame, but yet another in a long list of guys that, man, you could do so much with this guy. And let's not get crazy and have people scooped up, because trust me on this one, and I think you would agree 1,000%. He has multiple eyeballs on him right now, and he could fit in perfectly with either one of those two big boy organizations in the States.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, put a ring on it, New Japan.
Yep.
You like it. Right, fifth match then was the best of 7 series final with Master Wato, Shota Umino, Yuji Nagata defeating the Strong Styles team of El Desperado, Ren Narita, Minoru Suzuki. So Shota pinned Ren after 40 minutes 30 seconds with the Death Rider to even the score on the best of 7 series. I think it was 3-1. 3-1? Yeah, 3-3-1. So, really good match. Probably the best of the whole series. Crowd are very much into the Shota and Ren dynamics, and I think it's been a good experience for Ren. And yeah, interesting that they chose the showcase spot to give Shota the concluding pinfall there. Although his team didn't win the series, I think that was a very conscious choice when it got to Sumo Hall to be this is the guy, this is your guy. And I suppose the post match stuff is arguably more notable than the match itself. It's a really heartwarming ending. Them shaking hands. Despy allowing Wato to shake his finger. The dad's slapping and handshakes. That was really good stuff. Like tremendous entertainment and some great tag team potential there. Suzuki and Nagata were talking backstage about how they could combine their powers. So keep an eye on that for World Tag League. That would be great. I mean, I would love to see that. And again, some hints from Despy and Wato. We might get to see Despa Wato for Super Junior Tag League. So,
let's mix it up.
Some interesting ramifications.
I love it, actually. Seriously, you put Yuji Nagata and Minoru Suzuki in as a team in World Tag League, my interest has gone up tenfold. That to me would be. I mean, look, they're not even going to sniff winning, but maybe they get close. Keep it interesting. I think that would be incredibly fun. Look, I understand the idea of playing catch up for Wato and Nagata and Shota and getting the win, but the overall scope of this whole best of 7 series, were you scratching your head that at the end of the day, it's a tie? And again, the handshake helped kind of connect some dots, and hopefully there's something to come of that in a sense of just what we discussed. But if it doesn't, if there's nothing that comes from this, Joel, what was the fucking point? Like, unless I see some interaction between these two teams, and here's the thing too, I hate to say this, the idea of using this show as a build for fucking World Tag League is what the, we have so many other opportunities to do that. But the 6th match on the show is basically a tease for World Tag League. Does that shake your head at all?
I need to actually check the schedule to see when World Tag League starts, because I swear it's quite far away, because we've got the Super Junior Tag League. So that's all October, early November. We've got Fighting Spirit Unleashed end of October. We've got Power Struggle November 4th. We've got Lone Star Shootout November 10th. Anjo Rainy Days, I don't know what that is. That's November 11th. So World Tag League doesn't start until November 20th. So it's over a month away. So it seems a bit premature to be setting stuff up for that.
It does. And like I said, we have a million shows that we could do that with. Again, a month away, a little over a month. So, maybe not as much time as we, but there's multiple shows. And that's not to say that they won't, but I think that kind of just speaks to the overarching feeling of this show just being, why are we doing what we're doing? Right. We have what feels like a long time and plenty of opportunity to do stuff like this. If in fact this is a tease for a tour that's over a month away. All right. Great.
Unfortunately, my analysis of the next match is also World Tag League based. So that is the Strong Openweight Tag Team Championship match, where the challengers, El Fantasma and Hikuleo, defeated the champions, Gabe Kidd and Alex Coughlin, on their first defense, which is very sad. So 13 minutes, 12 seconds. ELP pinned Coughlin following the Super Thunder Kiss 86. Really good match. I mean, I was quite keen on seeing what the ELP Hikuleo team looked like. They had sort of nice matching gear. I enjoyed the energy and the dynamics and the aesthetics of it. It was something I sort of speculated on several months ago, but before they'd even announced it as a thing. And I think it's proven that it's got some juice, it's got some legs. So I'm interested to see where it goes. They're going to be defending those titles against the Monster Source team with Lance Archer and Alex Zane. They might be World Tag League as well. But I was disappointed that the War Dogs lost, but thinking of that, maybe this is them losing upwards. I think with a lot of these Bullet Club guys, there may be a fair bit of losing upwards here, where perhaps they are going to be contenders for World Tag League. But again, World Tag League is well over a month away, so I don't want to be dominating this podcast with World Tag League predictions, because are we even going to watch it, Damon? Yeah, I'd watch it. It's shaping up to look more interesting than World Tag Leagues have done in previous years.
Yeah.
If half the stuff that we've been speculating on comes to pass, it should be quite a solid lineup. But what did you think of this one?
Well, here's another example of a fucking title that, your mileage may vary. Does this, in essence, guarantee more U.S.-based, Western-based shows for Hikuleo and El Fantasma? I mean, I would lean toward probably. And I think you are right in the sense that Gabe Kidd, Alex Coughlin, losing to what was your phrase? Losing to improve or losing to move up?
Yeah, losing upwards.
Yeah.
Gabe Kidd has got a singles match. No, it's not a singles match. It's a four-way. Is it the Fighting Spirit Unleashed show? Yeah, it's a strong openweight championship number one contenders four-way match between Kojima, Fred Rosser, Jeff Cobb. Oh no, that's Alex Coughlin. So what's Gabe Kidd doing?
Oh.
He had something. He's got a singles match with Tom Lawler. That's it. So Coughlin is in a four-way for the strong openweight number one contenders. Gabe Kidd's got a singles match against Tom Lawler. So yeah, a little bit of single stuff in their future. But I'm not panicking yet that they're sort of being thrown in the bin.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that at all. I think, look, I mean, if we're being truthful here, we're looking at Gabe Kidd and we're like, there's a future there. Whether we want to pull a plug on David Finlay or not, we got somebody we can look at there. But yeah, I think I'm not worried about either one of the whore dogs at all.
Yes. So the next match then was the Never Openweight six-man tag team championship match with the champions Tomohiro Ishii, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Kazuchika Okada successfully defending against the Impact Challenger team of Josh Alexander, Chris Sabin, and Alex Shelley. 15 minutes, 40 seconds. Tanahashi pinned Shelley following the high-five flow. Probably the match of the night.
Yep.
It was a tremendous amount of fun. I've got to hand it to everyone involved for what they've done for the Never six-man titles. So for all the shit we're giving New Japan about failing to book their titles well, they are doing a really good job with this one. They're doing a good job with the junior tag titles as well. Belts that historically have been underappreciated. But yeah, this match was a lot of fun. Josh Alexander, as I predicted, looked great. Yep. It looks like he will be facing Ishii again. They wrestled each other last year in Impact, their Under Siege show. We seem to be heading towards Alex Shelley Tanahashi rematch for the Impact title. Ishii has invited Zack Sabre Jr. to get together a TMDK team to challenge for these six-man titles. So yeah, this is really good stuff all around.
Yeah, I don't think you can lose here when it comes to having Hiroshi Tanahashi, Ishii, Okada. I don't want to say, take it easy until Wrestle Kingdom, but this is a perfect opportunity, or at least a perfect environment to kind of have them coast a little bit into Wrestle Kingdom. I got no problem with it. And in fact, you're right. It does help elevate those titles. And here's the thing too. They do feel like that title where, see, I don't mind it here in a sense of random teams challenging. Yeah. I mean, we got fucking Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin, Josh Alexander. I like that. I like the idea of another promotion coming in and challenging for those titles. And I wish that we would see more of that. Like, if we wanted to do Noah, if we wanted to do All Japan, if we wanted to do DDT, if we wanted to do stuff like that, that's the perfect spot to do it with, like I said, guys who are getting a little up there, could use the break, could use, a six-man tag environment to get them to the other side to Wrestle Kingdom. And you're right, Joe. Even with that being said, the match was spectacular. It was very good. It was very good. And like I said, for me, I mean, you can make an argument it being the best match on the show. I think it's between this and the junior heavyweight, but yeah, I think there's a definite argument to be made and a fair one. And I think that the Impact guys did outstanding. Yeah, I think it was
proper promotional partners, Damon. That's what a partnership should look like. Well done, Impact.
Yes. Not once when it came down to when it was fucking Carl Anderson and all that mess. When you get into that, it's just you kind of just roll your eyes. But overall, I don't have much problem with the Impact relationship. I really don't. In fact, it feels like that's where the most interesting stuff with New Japan involvement comes from. From a match quality perspective, of course, everyone's going to lean into the AEW stuff. But, okay, let's just take that out of the equation. And I know for us to say that, it's difficult to do. Like, to me, the working relationship with Impact is more enjoyable and better for all parties than AEW by a country mile. Again, the gates, if there's revenue sharing involved in those big buildings, of course, it helps. Absolutely. Which kind of leads me to believe, the fucking Bushi Road better get on their hands and knees and pray to the altar of Tony Khan. I can't believe I'm saying that. But if there's revenue sharing on those gates, no wonder they had a little bump in revenue. Yeah. You had guys on shows that, probably the biggest shows of the fucking year. I'm done.
Well, I mean, it was nearly went down the same road as the AEW partnership as they almost poached Yuya Uemura, but finally common sense prevailed in the end there. Multiverse A says, who impressed you the most out of the 4 Impact guys? Shelley, Sabin, Alexander, and Speedball on the show, and who would you most like to see back in the not too distant future?
Here's what I like, and correct me if I'm wrong, this was a debut for Josh Alexander. Like Alex Shelley's been in New Japan rings, Chris Sabin as well. And again, I'm talking proper New Japan rings, not fucking, some show in front of 500 people in Dallas. Speedball Bailey as well. So for me, given the spotlight, given the spot, given the opportunity, I would go with Josh Alexander just for what he was able to do. But that being said, I think all 4 of those guys did. I mean, let's put it this way: they didn't embarrass themselves at the least, and at best, I thought they were very good and would welcome every one of them back with open arms.
8th match then was a Never Openweight Championship match with challenger Tama Tonga getting a somewhat surprising, in my eyes, win over the champion David Finlay. So 19 minutes 39 seconds with the DSD. This was not bad. No. This exceeded my admittedly low expectations. This was a lot closer to the match that I'd hoped they'd had in the first place, with Finlay sort of challenging more of the aggressive Killer Finlay than the Jay Light that we saw in the G1. I thought they got good crowd investment. Tama's got his home fans for sure. Does leave me with more questions than answers with regards to the booking, like where we go with both of them. And again, bringing up the theme of the night, this might well be Finlay losing upwards. And for Tama Tonga, I don't know, man. It feels like he's getting once again smushed against his ceiling, like the guy in the opening of Mission Impossible. But with that being said, I thought it was a pretty good match. I thought they finally delivered.
All right, let's put on our Pro Wrestling Illustrated caps. Let's go back in time, shall we? And let's think of this as that kind of fan. David Finlay is the leader of Bullet Club. He is the never openweight champion. He is defending his title. He loses that title. Again, we're talking about the never openweight championship to Tama Tonga, who upper mid card at best, right? Upper mid card at best. David Finlay loses. So what you're saying is David Finlay is no better than an upper mid card kind of guy, right? Or he's less than an upper mid card kind of guy because Tama Tonga defeated him. That's the leader of arguably, well, maybe not anymore, but one of the most important factions in New Japan Pro Wrestling who relies on that faction element. He's the leader.
Okay, can I play devil's advocate?
You absolutely can.
thinking of examples like Jay White losing the US title to Juice Robinson, or Kenny Omega losing the junior title to, I don't know, was it Kushida? I can't even remember. Now, admittedly, I don't think those guys were leaders of Bullet Club at the time, so I've kind of destroyed my own argument. But it's important to be intellectually honest when we're having these debates.
Yeah, sure. Nope.
I take your point.
Nope, but that's number one. And then number two, also, that was Kenny taking a bump up to heavyweights, shortly after. So it's not like I guess my question would be, okay, if this is what you described as losing and going up in the pecking order, kind of getting a belt off of you to go on to bigger and better things, it's just a weird thing because you're already a guy that shouldn't have to need to go up anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, you should be winning these type of matches handily. Because why? It's not like we're trying to position you to be the leader of a faction. You're the leader of the faction. And you're losing a secondary title on a show that's not the main event that, quite honestly, what you would think would be, I hate saying below you, but below you? And again, we're wearing our Pro Wrestling Illustrated t-shirts here. Like, it just doesn't make any sense, does it? Help me understand it.
Well, we've got questions. Derek says, so since House of Torch was featured over Bullet Club, Finlay was beat at Ryogoku. Do you think there's any changes in the forecast of Bullet Club, or are they just cold leftovers? Clint says, what do you think is the future of Finlay? Now he's dropped the Never title. Will he get a shot for the US-UK title now to help keep building him up, or is he just a lost cause? Well, I suppose would have to let the story play out, as the WWE fans would say. Because if he goes on to beat Will Ospreay in an absolutely killer match for the US UK title, then I will say, so he did lose upwards. But believe that when we see it. So, yes, jury's out on Finlay for me.
Yeah, I mean, 1,000% at this point. 1,000%. Here's the thing. The only reason why is because if Will is leaving, then okay, yes, but it doesn't make. Here's the thing: the idea of him reaping the benefits of this is the only possible positive I can think of. Right? That's the only thing, and it's just like, okay, David Finlay just had a bad night. And he's moving on, and look at that. See, he's back on his, he was, slipped and fell, but he rose to the occasion, and now he's the UK US champion. Fine. And we can all forget about it. But like I said, just looking at it, looking at the results and looking at the matches and looking at just like, what? All right. Again, hopefully we're shooting up.
Tama Tonga says he has invited Shingo Takagi to challenge for his title because of their unfinished business from the G1. So that takes us to the 9th match, which was the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship match 3-way, with Hiromu Takahashi getting his 6th successful defense against the challengers of Yo and Mike Bailey. So that was 17 minutes 50 seconds with Time Bomb 2. Who?
Yeah. What happened to the schedule? Flu? Was it the flu?
Well, this is what we've been told.
Yeah.
I don't want to say too much. I'm a bit worried about Leo Rush. I hope he's okay. I hope he's doing well.
Let's just say this: it wasn't flu, from what we understand, and for whatever reasons it was. I think people can connect some dots. And look, I hope that it gets sorted out. But this is another example, Joel, of what we were talking about before, wasn't it?
Yeah, this is the thing, and I wanted to dismiss and ridicule that, being like, no, this is sort of trite, cliche examples from yesteryear. This is, a different person, refocused, re-energized. I feel really uncomfortable speculating on this.
We're not speculating on what the reason is. Yeah.
No. So I'm going to bite my tongue and just say I hope everything's okay, and I look forward to seeing him wrestle again. I hope.
I agree with that 1,000%, but I will add, we have to add this to the list, and that list being, we want to help you in this promotion. Give us an opportunity to do so.
Help me to help you. Yes. The match itself, quite enjoyed. It didn't live up to the high expectations I'd set myself for the original Hiromu, Leo, and Mike Bailey match. But I thought, even in spite of the late change, they did a good job in, for the most part, avoiding some of the traditional tropes of the three-way match. Good, not great, I would say.
Yep. Yeah, good, not great. And here's the thing, they were put on the spot a little bit. I mean, Yo's involvement was really, a handful of days, to help tell the story of him even being involved in the match. So, he was shoehorned in and made the most of the situation. And I think all the guys made the most of a situation that, look, they're pros. I mean, it's not like they don't know each other, and it's not like they haven't, been around each other to be able to work with them. So, but again, I'm talking like the match was bad, and it wasn't. It was very good. It's just that, it was. I felt like it left a little bit on the table there.
We had Taiji Ishimori making his comeback at the end of the match. He attacked Hiromu. Mike Bailey says he wants Hiromu one-on-one after he faces Ospreay. I think that's going to be an Impact. So we're setting some stuff up for Hiromu. Do you think we're still sort of heading for this Hiromu breaking the defense record? Because I think he's only sort of halfway through it.
I know, it feels like forever.
There was plenty of opportunity for him to rack up more defenses, given all these fairly interesting cross-promotional matches he's having. I don't know why they couldn't have been junior title defenses, but do you think they're sticking with that?
I don't know. It does feel like it's going on forever, though. And you're right. Wouldn't it have been convenient to kind of just drop in a handful of these defenses just so that we can get through? The idea of him being in that fucking cheesesteak thing. And I know the cheesesteak fucking cup thing was there to help get Mike Bailey the Mike Bailey thing. Mike Bailey and I was there and I can't even remember. Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight was the tournament. But who in the fuck won the ladder match? Was it Doki? Doki won it, right?
Yeah, it was. It was Doki and Lowrider, I think.
Okay. You mean to tell me we couldn't put a fucking little title defense there? Come on.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So I'm just curious about the sort of slow pace that they've been sort of stacking up these junior title defenses.
I bet you they forgot all about it.
I could easily see a path for them to breaking it, but I mean, following the current trajectory, you wouldn't imagine that would happen until Don Taku or Dominion next year.
Right. Look, you can. I think if you polled the office at New Japan Pro Wrestling, half of them would be like, "Really? I had no idea."
We have to just sort of acknowledge that a lot of the time in New Japan, guys just say shit.
Yeah,
they just say shit. Some of the time it does end up being sort of long-term storytelling, but sometimes they're just saying shit.
Yep. Thank you. Perfect. Well done. Speaking of saying shit, hey, SANADA and EVIL.
No, I've got a question here from Eric who says, complicated question regarding the number of title defenses Hiromu needs in order to set a record at Wrestle Kingdom, but the question is only intended to introductorily set up my real question. What are the odds we get Hiromu versus Naito at next year's anniversary show, champ versus champ? So this is the match we nearly got before the pandemic happened.
Won't be surprised, right? I mean, I think everyone's crossing their fingers, not to jump ahead, that we are looking at a Naito triumph come Wrestle Kingdom. And traditionally that show has the junior champion versus heavyweight champion. So I wouldn't be surprised. And yes, we were promised that, and it is yet to come to pass. So yes, I think we're on the same page, right?
Yeah. Good stuff. All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Did you like it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
It's not bad.
Finally, we get to do what I want to do for a change. Right, the main event here, the 10th match was the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship match. It was a lumberjack death match with SANADA getting his fourth successful defense against the challenger EVIL in 28 minutes and 1 second with the deadfall. You want a little story, Damon? It's a true story, right? I was not able to watch all of this show live because I was working at the time. So I did manage to watch this match live during my lunch break at school. And it's absolutely true. I was doing live coverage of this on the Discord, so people on the Discord can verify. I realised about halfway through this match that I needed a poo. And that left me in the position of having to use the staff toilet, which is not ideal.
Why?
And
I was thinking it up. Okay.
A lot of critics might say you should have planned ahead better, done your business in a nice toilet at home, a toilet that you like.
Yeah, but you can't.
Right. But a work toilet is fine. It's functional. It gets the job done. But ideally, you don't want to have to depend on it too often. Maybe for the odd wee, but certainly nothing more than that.
Correct.
So, I had to go and do this poo. Now, most people might not appreciate the finer points of having a poo. There's a time and a place for it, okay?
Yeah.
A lot of people just, try and get it over as quick as you can. You'd rather not have to endure it at all because it's yucky, smelly, But call me a sicko or a pervert, but I actually appreciate, I enjoy having a poo. It can be very satisfying when it's done right, if you take your time with it.
Okay.
Even if the whole process is a bit predictable. You do the poo, you flush the poo, it goes away. Now, what was interesting here, Damon, was that the poo didn't flush the first time. Most of the little bits went away, but there's one big bit that came back that was left there. So that actually caused some unexpected drama here, and I can't lie, a little bit of a thrill. And while I was staring at this poo that wouldn't go away, and the time was ticking away until I'd have to go back to class, a really perverse part of me wondered what would happen if I just left it there. Just not flush it away. Just leave a massive floater there. See what my colleagues think of it. And I'd probably be mocked and ridiculed, but sometimes, you just get those intrusive thoughts, don't you? You're sort of morbidly curious to see how that scenario might play out. Just, leave the turd there and have it looked at by a much wider audience than you might have originally thought. Right. So I was debating that. I ended up flushing again. It's a big flush. I had to pump the handle a few times. The poo did eventually flush away. So, like I said, there was a bit of uncertainty and drama in the end that was caused more by my sick brain than any sort of mainstream appeal of doing a poo that won't flush away, which a casual audience will say is an unpleasant, an unwelcome scenario. Not me. I like it. But at the end of the day, the workplace toilet did its job. Maybe one that it shouldn't have been put in the position to do in the first place, but your mileage may vary. Some people really like workplace toilets. They're usually solid but unspectacular. Can be a bit sloppy, but if you listen really carefully, you can hear the praise for the workplace toilet. And sure, look, I would much rather have done my business on my tried and tested, my favourite toilet at home, but I acknowledge that it was a transitional toilet, a toilet that got me from point A to B. It was not the most exciting toilet, but it performed its role to about half the capacity you'd expect from like a serious established toilet. But it's got a smaller system, Damon. It's only really set up for wheeze, and I don't know if we can be like, it took 2 flushes, this is a bad toilet. I think we knew that going in. I knew that was the case, and also that it would be a bit messy and maybe take longer than I'd like, and I didn't really want to spend that much time sitting on this toilet. I was ready to move on and hopefully not have to use the workplace toilet for a poo again. But after that excitement, the initial excitement of the flush died away, I did end up staring at the toilet I'm feeling a bit empty, literally and figuratively, wondering what might have been if I just left the poo there, even if it would probably have meant the end of any professional credibility, with my work only being appreciated by increasingly dwindling numbers of mentally ill people. But sadly, I didn't see any of the SANADA versus EVIL match. I've got no thoughts on it, so you're going to have to take us through the match statement. Off you go.
We're going to leave it at that. I mean, that is the perfect, absolute. That's the match. You've described the match in a nutshell. You know what? How can I follow that? It's impossible. Where else are you going to get that? I'm blown away. That is because that's one, the time and effort that you took to give us your fine soliloquy on this match and compare it to the workplace poop is just podcasting gold. Secondly, that was the match in a nutshell. So, no, not a lot of surprises. Maybe a little bit of what ifs. And off we go to Wrestle Kingdom, the biggest event of New Japan Pro Wrestling's calendar year. And we're headlining it with Naito, SANADA. Strap it.
Daryl says, we're 3 months away from Wrestle Kingdom. This main event feels cold as shit.
Oh.
This isn't... Well, my shit is not cold. This isn't 2018 or 2020 Naito. And when he came out to do his face-to-face with SANADA, it felt lackluster. Did they make a mistake with this build-up? SANADA's run hasn't been very hot either. It feels to me that as a company whose top title is always the top angle, that something needs to be put on the heat fast. But what can be done between now and New Year's to fire this match up? Now, I will respond to that with a post I saw on Reddit from A Priorista. He says, the entire year has been built around this story, from Naito being chosen to retire Muta over his actual protege, SANADA, to a newly repackaged SANADA overcoming Naito in the New Japan Cup and rolling through every member of LIJ. There are actual stakes involved. Beyond the obvious personal connection and history between the opponents, Naito has to prove LIJ's worth against a defector who claims he was held back under his shadow, while SANADA has to prove himself a worthy champion on the grandest stage. This match has more story built in than most Wrestle Kingdom main events and will absolutely deliver a big fight feel. Most importantly, it's a main event built for the domestic audience. Many of the Western fans who complain about SANADA don't realise this match will draw better than Ospreay versus Okada could in the main event. And look, it's important to examine that through the lens of a really disappointing Ospreay versus Okada number during the G1. So could it be, Damon? I'm not going to rehash what I've said before about me not being excited for SANADA versus Naito, but could this be an example of a large cultural disconnect between us as the foreign fans and the domestic fans?
I mean, we opened the show with it. Why not kind of go there now? It does feel that way. It definitely does seem that way. But the proof will be in the pudding, right? The proof will be, okay, if that's the case, and I don't doubt it, because that's at least that's an intelligent analysis of the situation. So good job by that poster. That being said, it's great that SANADA has this connection that apparently he has with a homegrown audience. Give me an example so far on this run that gives you that indicator of that being true. Like, I don't know anyone who... I think people, and your mileage may vary, but I think people enjoy SANADA's output much more than in past years, right? Him as champion, him leading this faction, and maybe he's not, but okay, being a focal point of this new faction. Small tweaks to character, but overall, it's SANADA. I struggle to see where that correlates with New Japan and business and buzz and boomingness. Because if we're being honest here, the match itself, while it does have that history and it does have that story, and which is 1,000% accurate, I don't know. It was like tickets went on sale once again before a show was even announced, before a person was announced. Tickets already went on sale, so you had to invest your money. So, I mean, it's kind of hard to say that. I just want to see how tickets move, since we have 2 or 3 months at least before we get to Wrestle Kingdom. I'd be very curious to see where we are before Naito stepped in that ring, ticket sales wise, and compare that to what we wind up when the bell rings and the lights go down and Emerson, Lake, and Palmer are played over the loudspeaker. I would be very curious to see. I'm not saying that it won't. I'm just saying that let's see if it does. Because if it does, then that would help explain a lot to a lot of people. If it doesn't, all that's going to do is just strengthen a lot of people's arguments that what are we doing here?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose this should be examined through the lens of whatever ticket number Wrestle Kingdom does. But I don't enjoy critiquing wrestling that way, because at the end of the day, I'm a fan and I like to analyze things through whether things are, creatively fulfilling to me as a viewer. And this isn't. And I've been honest about that from the start. This is not doing it for me. The match might be great, but is it exciting for me? No, it's not. And I feel that is the most honest and meaningful way for me to analyze this. Although I thought it was important for me to present some alternative opinions when we do discuss that. And look, here's something interesting. Hannibal says, what are the thoughts now that 1 million EVIL was the biggest draw in wrestling for this past week and a half? So did you see this about the number of viewers on the Abema live?
Help me with it. What happened?
Oh God, let's see if I can find it somewhere.
I mean, you don't have to be accurate. Just give me the general ballpark of it.
Okay, so basically, the show got 1 million live viewers, whereas the WWE Fastlane show got 217,000.
Okay. I mean, I know everybody's kind of panicky over the idea of WWE coming in and, buying the island of Japan, but I don't know. I mean, I don't see it. And if they try to get something going, I don't know. It's people. I think people. Let me do this. I'll try and equate it to sports here in the States, where there has definitely been a shift in people's interests in players as opposed to the laundry that they wear. And the saying is, because they follow a player more than, say, the team itself. Right? Their allegiance goes with the player. And I don't see that a lot from what I understand, in the history of Japanese professional wrestling. It feels like it's more of a, hey, I'm a Noah guy. Hey, I'm a All Japan girl. Hey, I like the DDT. And you kind of stick with that. I don't know. I don't know. Again, for me, I can't. My enjoyment of something doesn't necessarily mean that it's good. It's good to me, right? But that's like saying I think the Smiths are the greatest band in the world. There's probably a lot of argument to that, right? But I think so. And you know what? There's probably people that think the same. But just because I like something doesn't necessarily mean that it's the best. And the only way that I can really be objective and say, okay, this was a success and this wasn't, is, and I can't say the only way, but the biggest piece of that pie is ticket sales. right? Does this resonate with fans buying tickets? Again, I want to see where we were and what we wind up at. And then that to me says, okay, that sparked the interest of the local fan base, which is incredibly different than that of, and again, I lump everybody in, but the Western fan base. It really is. It's a cultural difference. It's how we just look on the surface of how people enjoy pro wrestling. And I'm not saying one is better than the other, but you mean to tell me that you can't see the difference between a crowd enjoying pro wrestling at Cork and Hall than, say, I don't know, fucking 2300 Arena in Philly? You know, it's a difference. It's a cultural difference. So the long way around it is this. Definitely maybe. Maybe this is a show that is based for a Japanese fan base that would enjoy it more. Very possible. Absolutely. And in fact, I lean that way. I absolutely lean that way. Does that mean that we are going to get enjoyment out of it? Maybe not as much. I hate to say it. Maybe not as much. And I will say this too. Imagine fucking buying tickets for this. Imagine the flight and you had to buy tickets in advance, and the tickets they pumped up the prices and all of that, and then that's what you get. Can't say I'd be too pleased.
Yeah, I mean, if you are someone who's booked your trip, I think the actual Wrestle Kingdom main event is not necessarily the biggest thing to look forward to on your trip. Just, the experience of being in Japan and Tokyo and, actually just visiting Wrestle Kingdom. It will make up for it, because I don't want people to think like, oh God, I've wasted all my money.
Right.
I'm sure it's going to be a great event and a great show, even if it's not something that's
here's what I would recommend.
Now particular world on fire.
I would recommend if you're with your significant other, your partner, have sex in Tokyo, because then you'd be like, oh, I can't believe we just had sex in Tokyo. It'd be great, right?
That's great.
Do you ever do
great
that?
Idea.
Do you do that with
have sex.
like when you go around and be like,
have sex? No, not unless I perform small administrative duties.
But like you travel
to fill in a lot of red tape.
There's a lot of negotiating going on in Joel's home. Okay,
a lot of forms need to be filled out. Yeah.
I understand. A lot of checks and balances, but you when things were more vibrant when it came to that, did you do that? You'd be like, we're in wherever you go on holiday. Oh, I'm in Mexico. Oh, I'm in whatever. Oh, we just had sex in Mexico, and then you keep kind of track of where you had sex. You don't do that? All right, I'm an animal.
Yes, I should keep a list of that with star ratings.
Yes.
Well, notebook.
I can't wait to come over your house. I'll bring my own sheets.
Look, back to the wrestling. Don't bring a UV light. Yay! Now, I should point out, after this match, Yuya was looking at the belt. So file that one away for later, listeners, before you throw Yuya Uemura in the bin. Liam says, how much influence do you think Togo has in the creative and match layouts for EVIL? When you watch matches like that, it's like watching a totally different promotion and vision of wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people have said that. I don't know if his influence has diminished, or if he's the sole proprietor of EVIL Incorporated, and anything that goes on in his matches, he has a say. I don't think that there's any shock in saying that he has a voice, and I'm sure that voice has gotten more powerful and less powerful and more powerful and less powerful. It waned. So to say that he doesn't have a say in what goes in those matches, I find it would be hard to believe. But to say that he's super influential in everything that's going on in New Japan, I think that ship has sailed.
Okay, let's go on to previewing Royal Quest then. So, Metham says any decent boozers near the Copper Box, and Cactus Max says would be good to know if there will be a Royal Quest 3 meetup in advance of Saturday. I was at the Courtauld Gallery, completely missed the message about London, blah, 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 blah. So, I am declaring that the official pre-Royal Quest 3 Super J-Cast meetup to be taking place at, get a pen and paper ready so you don't miss it. The place is called Crate Brewery in Hackney Wick. So it's the same place we met before the RevPro anniversary show. So I plan to be there from about 2 o'clock, I would say. So I think doors are at 4:30. So I'll be there from 2. So you can come and see me and buy me either a cider or a pizza or both.
Terrific.
Really enjoyed that. So there you go. Crate Brewery in Hackney Wick. Please do come along and say hello. And I'm sure we're going to have a lovely time.
Yeah, and the show should be. We're about to get into it, but yeah, I mean that's going to be a fun time, and I think everyone can get nice and toasted up, and buy Joel a couple pints to get him all lubed up. And then watch him poop.
And if you miss the opportunity to buy me a drink at Crate Brewery, if you see me in the Copper Box, you can still buy me some refreshments then. Buy me a delicious hot dog or some nachos or something. I will gladly accept that. There's a small token of your appreciation for the wonderful, if somewhat heavy-handed analogies you get on the Super J-Cast. William says, so this was before the card was announced. He says 5 matches announced for the Royal Quest 3 show. Should they add a couple more title matches on the card? And then Matthew says, follow-up question, now they have added more matches to the card, should they take them back off? Which popped me. That was very funny. Oh, Christ. You look at your WhatsApp. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not commenting this. Right, Royal Quest 3 card. So we are kicking things off. The first match will be Robbie X versus Taiji Ishimori, which is an unexpected little treat. And I think that one looks really good. I thought Robbie X was arguably the standout of the 6-way cruiserweight match at the RevPro show. So getting to see him in singles action against Taiji Ishimori is a little tune-up match for Ishimori. Should be good fun. I'm into that. I don't know if you want me to just go through the whole card and you give me your overall thoughts afterwards, or do you want to go match by match?
I'm just looking at the little note that we got.
Just fuck off, Tony. Just fuck right off.
All right, what are you going to do? All right, so...
Yeah, do you want me to go match by match, or should I just do the whole card?
That distracted me. I'm sorry, that little text that we got...
It's all right. I understand. Okay, so we've also got singles match with El Desperado versus Trent Seven. This is the only match on the card where I'm just that's a hand wave for me. As much as I love Despy, I've got zero interest in seeing Trent Seven, and I don't know why he keeps getting booked in these prominent spots. So yeah,
I liked him.
Don't care.
I'm sorry, I liked him before NXT. I really did. I enjoyed his work. Look, we all know the fucking shit that went down. All of it. I get it, but I to me, that's an example of a guy who just, I feel like, made so many wrong decisions. It felt like.
He was deep in the weeds when it came to the speaking out stuff. So to me, like, I can't, he might have the best match in the world. I can't shake that. Right. And yeah, I don't like him. Don't want to see him wrestle. Singles match then, we have Yota Tsuji versus Luke Jacobs. Now, I can't fucking wait for that. That should be tremendous. We all know how good Tsuji is. If you've not seen Luke Jacobs versus Ishii from the RevPro show, do go out of your way to find that, because I've said before, Luke Jacobs is a wonderful talent. He reminds me of sort of 2016, 2017 Walter. Mm-hmm. And I think this is someone that New Japan have an eye on. I think you have to... pay attention to the RevPro guys who've been given singles opportunities here, and that is a big test for them. Like, I'm not going to say a direct trial for New Japan, but a lot of eyeballs on them and a lot of important people watching. And if they deliver, then that's definitely going to open doors, and I think Luke Jacobs is one of them. Fourth match, we've got the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship. So Drilla Maloney and Clark Connors defending against Leon Slater and Cameron Kai. Now, I'll hold my hands up. I've not seen any Cameron Kai, so I can't speak on that. But Leon Slater is another fantastic talent. He was really great in he had a singles match against Drilla Maloney at the RevPro show, and he was really, really good in that. So if you've not seen him before, you're in for a treat. So continuing that story between them. And yeah, Leon Slater, a guy that I would really like to see in Super Junior Tag League. Probably a bit too soon, but if I had to put some money down, I would hope to see Leon Slater feature in a Best of the Super Juniors in the next couple of years, because I think he's got all the tools to be a success in the business. Fifth match, we've got six-man tag with El Phantasmo, Tama Tonga, and Tanga Loa against Alex Coughlin, David Finlay, and Gabe Kidd. I mean, yeah, whatever. I'm sure that'll be fun. Sixth match is Ren Narita and Shota Umino teaming against Francesco Akira and Great O'Khan. So yet more potential World Tag League build-up here with Ren and Shota teaming, which I'm excited for. I think that's the first time getting to see them teaming up. Well, I don't know if they did it as young lions, but what could be the genesis of an exciting and fruitful tag partnership. Who knows? Seventh match, we've got Sanada and Doki having a match against Naito and Bushi. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, always fun to see Naito. We've got six-man tag, Tanahashi, Eddie Kingston, and Michael Oku against Henare, Jeff Cobb, and TJP. So, of course, Michael Oku was going to find his way onto this card somehow, and I appreciate that he's been hidden away on a six-man tag match. That is good booking, so well done to whoever did that. We've got a special singles match, Tomohiro Ishii versus Shingo Takagi, which is a match I've seen loads of times. I've had my fill of it, so I can't say I'm champing at the bit to see more of this. But, in front of a raucous London crowd, then we might see something a bit special. Who knows? I expect Shingo to win that because it seemed, I don't know, it looks like he might be challenging for the Never title against Tama Tonga. And the main event, IWGP US UK Championship, Will Ospreay defending against Zack Sabre Jr. Now, I saw some talk about this being a double title match with the TV title on the line, but I've not had that confirmed. I think it's just for the IWGP US UK title. But this should be great. I mean, the bar for this is extremely high. If you're looking for what are some of the top singles matches that New Japan could put on right now, this would be somewhere near the top. Both guys having outstanding years, really strong Wrestler of the Year cases for both of them. Yep. In London, in front of a copper box crowd, with a top, I consider a top championship on the line. My expectations are very, very high here,
as they should, because yes, let's think about that for a second. Will Ospreay, Zack Sabre Jr., both, I mean, they are right there in the mix for Wrestler of the Year, right? I think they are on a lot of people's short list. And to see, it's not every day that in a relatively small arena that you get to see two guys at the peak of their game, wrestling in a match, singles, unless, this is a big time stadium. This is a pleasure. Right. And Zach having undoubtedly a fantastic year, and it might even be a little bit under the radar, but whew. And here's the thing too. Look, I think RevPro being who they are and what they mean and the weight that they carry in the British wrestling scene, and by no means am I an expert on the British wrestling scene, they do have a responsibility to make sure that this is a safe, good environment for everyone, right? And I think everyone can agree with that. That being said, they consistently deliver when it comes to shows like this, right? To when it's time for them to step up and have a show that is showcasing not only their talent, and New Japan will have eyeballs on more than a few people on this show, to deliver two singles matches that, quite honestly, have greatness written all over it. Yes, we've seen Ishii and Shingo more than a few times. Still going to be great. Still going to be awesome. And then Zach and Will on top of it. Look, I'm tipping my cap to RevPro. I don't know what they have done post the terrible situation that the British wrestling scene was in. I honestly don't know what they have done, if anything. And I feel like they do have a responsibility to be a leader because they are a leader. But from a wrestling show perspective, boy, they fucking hit the ball out of the park. They hit the ball out of the park. And this will be a must watch. This will be a must watch this weekend. Absolutely. And if you're a New Japan Pro Wrestling fan, let's, again, they're apples and oranges to a certain degree, but let's see, like, when we're talking about working with a promotion and how your guys are being presented, and like from top to bottom, I think both organizations win from a relationship like this. So looking forward to it. You're a lucky man. I would love to be there.
Yeah, I've said before, I think the New Japan will be leaning heavily on the RevPro partnership in 2024. So yeah, I'm really excited. I think they put the best foot forward here. They've put the guys on the card that I came away from the anniversary show wanting to see more of. So yeah, high expectations for this, especially with that main event and the incredible Ospreay-Zack match they had. I'm thinking of a New Japan Cup semi-final maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I can't remember exactly how long ago it was, but that was so fucking good. Yeah. So this, could even top that. I'll be impressed if they do, because that was a bona fide match of the year candidate. But this could be that. This could be that, especially if I've had a few drinks in me and have been treated to a wonderful afternoon by all the lovely Super J-Cast listeners who are going to be in attendance.
Absolutely. Look at you. You're a lucky man. You're a lucky man. I'll be sitting on my couch with my pants down.
Nice. Yeah. All right, let's check in with Antonio before we get out of here. So strap yourself in. It's a long one.
All right.
I'm going to read it and do my best to sort of pass out talking points on that. So, already saw the podcast and enjoyed it. Glad you made your Champions League predictions, and congrats for beating Man City, the UK team I support alongside Celtic. My boys Paolo, Bernardo and Jota. Also enjoyed that Canadian team exam that explained Benfica 22-23 in a nutshell. The good start was great to the point of being UCL contenders, only to that vanish because of poor January market and player strike, aka Real 2, Casio Fernandez forcing his transfer to Chelsea and treating SLB fans like sheep, which almost cost the season. Yeah, he's not doing too great. He's not lighting the world on fire at Chelsea, so I suppose that's going to take some, be quite an enjoyable thing for Antonio. And yeah, thank you for throwing some love for our big win against City. That was a long time coming. Second question, with Naito facing SANADA and possibly winning IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, is going to pull Antonio Conte of finishing things that he started or not. Basically, is there a chance, like Yota Tsuji said, we're going to see IWGP IG and HY, or that chance is more than dead because I love those belts? Have even Pro Rest Flow and Gideon Gray have been begging, like a lot of people, for those belts to return. So is there a single 2% chance they will return, or that's it, the titles are done and dusted? Thogoths. So do you think we see a return of I assume he means the Intercontinental title and or the IWGP fourth version of the belt? I don't think we see the latter. I think there is a non-zero chance of the IC title getting resurrected because there's a fair amount of smoke with that. So I wouldn't, maybe at the end of Ospreay, Zack, they say, right, we're rechristening the UK title as the Intercontinental title, get the white belt again. That I'm sure would get a huge reaction from the fans. But that's more hope than expectation. Any thoughts on Thogoths on whether or not they bring that title back?
Well, let's work our way backwards, shall we? I would actually not mind that belt returning. I wonder who owns it. I wonder where it's at. If it's in somebody's like closet or underneath somebody's couch or something. I'd be curious. Now, I will allow it back under one condition. We consolidate every other singles title into that belt. Fair enough? And I will go so far as to say this. Let's have a tournament where the New Japan TV champion, the holder of the US/UK title, the KOP title, the Strong title, can all be in a pretty interesting tournament, right? To consolidate those titles into the Intercontinental title. How's that idea? Huh? I just made it so much interesting. Lastly, I don't ask much when it comes to this podcast. Yes, we joke around of it would be great if you bought a t-shirt or contributed money, and we always appreciate that. I'm going to make a request from each and every one of our thousands upon thousands of listeners. Can we find a way to donate cash money for our good friend, Antonio, to make it to this show so that there could be a face-to-face meeting between you?
Can you imagine the scenes? Me and Antonio together.
I bet you would have a fucking ball. He sounds like a guy that knows how to do it right. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like he can, A, drink with the best of them, B, probably funny as fuck, and C, I'm gonna throw it out here. He's probably got a big hog, right? Just gonna throw it out there. Okay. I could be wrong, but I'm gonna throw it out there. So, can we find a GoFundMe or a something where we can collect funds to make this happen? It has to be quick. Really does. Maybe is there a sugar daddy or sugar mama that can make this happen for Antonio? Have him fly in to London. Where's he from? Fucking Italy? Where's he from? Spain?
Portugal, I think.
Okay. I mean, we're talking similar distances, right? Right?
Close enough, yeah.
I mean, it's not like it's like saying New Jersey. Flight. London Heathrow gets the tickets to the show, spends the night, flies ass back home
with me.
Yep. Oh, obviously, yes, all that. Yes. Meet you, drinks, all that. Again, he's got to pay for his own drink.
Does he have to have full sex with me, or is he just sleeping with me? Are we just sort of topping and tailing?
I'm going to let the magic happen wherever it takes you, Joe. If there's a connection, if there's a love connection, by all means.
Yeah, I don't want to put too much pressure on it, Antonio. We'll just, see what the vibes are.
Yeah, I mean, after a couple beers, I'm just saying. Can we make that happen?
And if that IC title comes out,
oh my lord,
all bets are off, my friend.
God, whew. Joel,
I'm sweating, Damon. Whoa.
Joel, fucking fish hooking him. Take this. Oh, Antonio. All right. Let's see if we can make that happen.
Not even finished. There's more, Antonio.
Oh, Christ almighty.
I only got halfway through his questions.
That's halfway?
Halfway.
Oh, listen, I got a Phillies game to watch. I got the Leafs. They play tonight. Home. Come on. What are we doing here? All right. One more question. Can you parse it down to a sentence or two?
I'm going to read the whole thing, and then I'm going to give a brief answer. Right. We're playing with Deadwood like Chiquinho, but lucky SLB won the league last year. No, I'm not SLB fan. I support every Portuguese team, especially in you. First question: what's you and Damon's favourite UCL game so far? For me, it's Braga versus Union Berlin. For me, it was Arsenal destroying PSV Eindhoven. It was very good, a dramatic game. Crowd was great. Third question: question one is Thogus on WWE going to Abima as the replacement for MMA content and Noah Failer in trying to piggyback viewers to watch their product since in Japan. NJPW Cyberfight, Dragon Gate, and AJPW have more viewers than WWE, which, to be fair, reinforced the point that Ranty Review made in multiple videos regarding WWE and NXT in Japan as that American side stuff, which, to be fair, he's right, though. So what's your Thogus on the whole question? Thogus, also, since you guys since you guys number one fan, right? So this is more Joel than Damon. Since Damon doesn't watch AEW. With your guys' Thogus, especially Joel, on the paintings I did in regards to Don Callis, Thogus, PS Hope, use it on Dynamite and on AEW program because they're very sick. Took hours to do so. Yeah, he's done some beautiful paintings, which I might smash the retweet button on so you can all enjoy the paintings as well. Because like genuine, if he's done them, that's good stuff. The Abima situation. I mean, we've talked about that. They're no threat. We're going to be fine. Everything's going to be A-OK for New Japan. NXT Japan, I don't think it's going to happen. I think it would just be a colossal waste of money that I don't think the parent company would be. They're not idiots. Yeah. It would just seem like a daft thing to do because WWE are making money hand over fist at the moment through low effort TV content and the Saudi stuff. It would seem now that they've got shareholders to answer to rather than just Vince McMahon's personal perversions, then I can't see it being a success, even if it does happen. I mean, there have been some sort of offhand comments from Triple H that this might be something that they're interested in, but I'll believe it when I see it.
I agree with that, and I think a lot of people say a lot of things just to kind of, get juices flowing and people talking about the product and blah blah blah. All right, let me ask you this. Portuguese food. Looking at fantastic seafood.
Nando's.
Yeah. I'm looking down here. I mean, it looks great. There's this one thing. Sardine. They like the sardines, do they? I'm not a big fan of the sardine. Are you a big fan of the sardine?
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't like them at all. Sorry.
I don't like fish heads.
No, I've just alienated all the sardine fan listeners.
Fuck that.
Should be dropping a few more.
in our sardines. the Reddit group, our sardines, now has heat with the Super
sardine stands coming after me again.
The Braves just scored. Fuck them. I hate the Braves. All right. Yeah. Our sardines, our apologies. Please don't take out your hate. Go fuck yourselves. I wonder if there's an R sardine. I gotta look. Like, we can't leave it on that note. I gotta see if there's R.
Right, so we can look at R sardines.
Reddit. Sardines. Sardine. How do you spell sardine? SARD. Oh yeah. Reddit. Yes, Joe's Sardis recipes. I don't know if there's an.
No, there is one, but it says it's for the game Sardines.
Oh.
I didn't know there was a game called Sardines. It says if you want to talk canned fish for some reason, go to our canned sardines. So there is a subreddit.
Canned sardines? All right.
Talk about canned sardines. And posted to the top, canned sardines will go dark for 48 hours from June 12th to 14th in protest of Reddit's API changes. So, maybe that might have been the last straw. The straw that broke the camel's back. When our canned sardines decided to show their solidarity, they knew shit was going bad.
Yeah, I love it. That's good. Good for them. You know what? I'm a big fan. Oh, this. I gotta be honest with you. Have you looked through some of these pictures? It's unbelievably fucking gross.
Yeah. It's just. I'm gonna post this to Twitter with
just
our
sardine, our canned sardine. Oh, It's so gross. Okay, well, hey, listen, you like what you like. Good for you guys. All right, let's wrap that up now. I think we're done, right?
Yeah, we're done. All right, redcircle.com/shows/super-j-cast. Contribute money to the Get Antonio to Royal Quest Fund. ProWrestlingTees.com/Super J-Cast for our t-shirts. Thank you to Editor Dan. Buy him a drink as well when you see him at Royal Quest. And find him on Twitter at LousyHero219. Follow us on Twitter at Super J-Cast. Thank you everyone for listening and goodbye.
Hey everybody, my name is Jesse Collins, and I want to tell you all about my show, The Gentleman's Wrestling Podcast, here on the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network. On The Gentleman's Wrestling Podcast, we do a thorough analysis on the biggest issues and trends within the pro wrestling industry. We talk a lot about pro wrestling media. We talk a lot about fan culture and wrestling's place within general pop culture, and we talk about the broader influences that are shaping the way we discuss and analyze the pro wrestling industry. We've had some of the brightest minds in the pro wrestling intelligentsia on the show, including WrestleNomics host Brandon Thurston, both Rich Craich and Joe Lanza from the Flagship Wrestling Podcast, Trevor Dame from the Through the Years podcast, and a whole lot more. This isn't a show for hot takes. It's not a show recapping the latest episode of television. This is a show focusing on the biggest topics in pro wrestling and doing a deep dive on the real stories behind the surface level analysis you might find elsewhere. The Gentleman's Wrestling Podcast is available wherever you get your podcasts, and we'd really appreciate it if you gave us a try. Thanks.
Do you like wrestling trivia? Then check out the 5-Star Match Game, the Pro Wrestling Quiz Show. I'm Joe Gagney, and every episode, I grill 3 contestants with 5 rounds of power-packed wrestling trivia. We have over 30 evergreen episodes in the archives covering WWE, AEW, Japan, Mexico, and much, 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 much more. Play along at home and check it out today.